it would be a very early war thing to do to just start plowing into things, but let's take a look at the combat results tables and see what we're looking at, because the English have an initial choice. I'm assuming the probe and regular combat results table are probably not my best choices here. Probably going to want to use the surprise table or the mobile table. So let's see what we're looking at. Well, 1-to-1, we get eliminations on the surprise table. It looks just superior to the mobile table. So I think all our initial attacks are going to be on the surprise table. And we can see that's not bad for a 1-to-1 table. That's pretty damn potent. So, of course, where we're looking here, we're looking at 5 to a defense strength of 8 because it's doubled. Let's just make sure there's nothing tricky kicking around. Woods will double. Trenches, just doubling. The bridges, you can't fight through the bridges. Tanks have their attack strength. Okay, so the canals have you. And I think nothing else does a whole lot. So, you know, we probably don't want to attack on the 1-to-2, but even that's not terrible. For my initial movement, I can't move my cav. I shifted some of my forces. I can do this. Clear, I think, just costs 1 movement point. I'll make sure trenches don't. Trenches only cost 1. Yeah, I don't see anything there. I'd get an extra movement point for moving into an enemy zone of control. Putting a massive attack here. That's going to be a 2-to-1 there. I think this actually only works out to 2-to-1, right? 4, no, 8. Wow, 13, 14, 15, 19, 21 to 6. Now I could make that 19 to 6, but I can't get another tank in there. So I go this way. 1, 2, 3. Not sure that's legitimate. I think the tanks have to. I don't think they can attack on their own. Okay, so let's start doing some attacks. Well, I don't know that I want to do a 1-to-2. So let's go over here. I've got 8 to 8, 1-to-1. I think that's a pretty decent chart. We'll do that. You know, the 1-to-2 isn't that terrible, except there's an exchange on it. But we don't want to get forced out. Yeah, we'll do the 1-to-1 here. It's a defender eliminated. And I'm allowed to advance. I think I advance there. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, I could get there. Yeah, let's do this. Try to blow that out of the way. I'll keep a dead pile over here for counting up victory points at the end. Over here, I've got 6, 10, 14 to 6. That's a 2-to-1 attack on the surprise. Oh, not so good. Defender retreats 1. We could retreat here, and that would keep us our bonuses and not. So we'd still have a defensive bonus there, and the biggie is if we retreat to someplace like here, we're afraid we're going to get cut off. And we'll have the attacker advance here. Over here. 8, 15, 21 to 6. That's a 3-to-1 attack. This is likely to be my breakthrough. You know, I may want to see what else happens. Let's go over here before we do that. I got an 8 to 6. That's only a 1-to-1. That's why I didn't really. I'd like to know what's happening there. 1-to-1 F4, defender retreat a hex. I'm going to fall back there. These will advance. Now we get this attack at 3-to-1, and then we'll make the decision on the last couple. And you can see this is a pretty damn simple game. That's a defender eliminated. This is a cheap German unit, but we get to advance 2 hexes here. And plowing forward. Do we want to make another attack? These would be 1-to-2s. I'd rather not. I want to go for depth and not take risks along my flanks. And that gets me over to the German side of the turn. The Germans just basically pull back. I'm trying to get some kind of consolidated defense towards the center to prevent this breakthrough from getting me towards Cambrai, where the British really want to get. Trying to be, somewhat wise here, right? And that brings us over here. Second turn. Forgot, and I don't think it makes much difference. I forgot to roll for the British tank breakdowns. I think the German moves will be the same, so we'll just be rolling for each tank. That's these 3. This guy is out. I believe it's 5 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so on down the line. That changes things a little bit. Alrighty. A lot of tanks in trouble. Oh well. And we'll figure out what the Brit attacks are. But it looks like we've got a pretty clear way forward. The Germans can't run very fast. Surprise attack's going to continue here. 9, 13 to 8. That's just 2-to-1. We kill another German. We can push forward. And you can see I've got my cav moving up now. Up here, let's do this first. 8 to 6 is just 1-to-1. Probably don't want to make 1-to-1 attacks on the normal chart. They don't look terrible, but they're not good. Defender retreat 2. And we'll push forward. Gotta kind of remember what you moved, right? Or what you attacked with. You can tilt them or whatever if you need to. 6 and 7 is 13. 18 to 6, 3-to-1 again. It's just a mop-up right here. DR1. That's not very bad. Here I got a problem. I can't retreat, so I'm destroyed. And that means I believe the tanks get their advance, their special advance. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Keep pushing forward. We don't have a supply problem. Now I got to check my tanks again. Now they only die on a 1. There are lots of them, so I'll lose less. None of them croaked. That puts us over to the German side of the turn. Back again. It's looking kind of grim. This is the last turn of the surprise, though, so that'll help a bit. And what is it? At least half the units have to be tanks for you to use the mobile chart. More than half. And the same with the Strasstruppen. More than half of them have to. More than half of them have to be around 6. It doesn't say they're the 6-4s. I don't know if there are 6s that aren't 4s. A little clever. I think I could have gotten some of the British cav off the map. I don't hope that it's that big a deal. But here are my attacks coming across. We want to hit this first. It's pretty important. So that's 3, 4, 5, 10, 14 to 8. Yeah, crap. Guess it's just a 1-to-1. That I had a 2-to-1 come in there. This is my last surprise turn, so I get to keep rolling. 2, it's a defender retreat 2. Fall back to the town. What do we want crossing the river? These 2 units can go across. I could throw another tank into play. I don't know. Get them a little closer to the town. Try to take Cambrai. This feels a lot more. I don't really remember it that much, but Breakthrough Cambrai felt like I had a harder time getting the Brits moving forward. The turns, though, are longer here, so that may be what I'm seeing. Here I got 4, 5, 6 to 6. That's another 1-to-1. Let's go to the end first. That's 8 to 6. Yeah, that's 1-to-1 as well. I'd like to see that one first. Defender retreat 1. Fall back. Put some forward. And then here was a 1-to-1 also. That's an attacker retreat. Luckily, we're allowed to. I could fall behind the river, but I don't feel like the Germans are going to have a lot of forces coming in right now. So that sounds good. Ooh. Something is supposed to happen with us French. I've just been forgetting that. Once the counterattack is declared. Okay. So we'll put the counterattack marker on top of the French. That'll probably help remind me a little bit. And we go to the German turn. Germans coming into Cambrai. We set up some defensive line there. Over here, we're actually going to launch an attack. Elsewhere, we'll just stand in our position. I forgot to roll for the British tanks. I did it. They didn't lose any additional ones. We have 6 to 3 here. That's 2-to-1. Now we have the choice between standard, probe, or mobile. Mobile looks the least damaging. Although, yeah, because we don't want counterattacks because this is still British surprise turn. So we'll go to the 2-to-1 on the mobile. It's got to be more than half. Oh, our units aren't there. Why don't we not attack? I'm going to position myself. Can I get there? 1, 2. I cannot. Shit. This terrain doesn't help me. That's rough. There's no defensive bonus for rough terrain. I'd rather the river line a little bit. Can I get there? 1, 2. Yeah, I can't really get in there. So I'm really pretty hard pressed here. All right. Well. Question is whether to refuse the flank or take advantage of the river line for the one unit that 1, 2, 3, 4 would have some trouble positioning wise to move around us. I think we're going to sit like that and see what happens. And that puts us onto the 4th turn. Okay, so the British turn, now they don't have their special attack anymore. Starting to dig in order to protect all these cav that we're sending across. If those succeed, they become victory points. They all came out this one hex, and then there are 4 turns in advance. That's when they can come back in. If I can hold the line up here, which is why I've got a couple of units here. This guy's trying to defend the river line just to prevent an easier attack coming across. And then some reinforcements coming forward. We got one attack here, which is 17, 18, 19 to 6, which is a 3-to-1. Now, do I want to do the regular attack, which gives me a much better chance of destroying the enemy, but a greater chance of an exchange? I believe so. Nothing can hurt me too bad there. And we kill him. And this is a mobile attack, so we can advance 2 hexes if we like. This location looks pretty good. These guys are actually there. Let's push past them and slip across, I guess. These guys are kind of out in the open, but we're going to try to break down that side of things, and basically convert this trench and pin the Germans into there if we can. And tank breakdown. We got 2 in each space. Oh, that was a 1 and a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for the other one, oh, that's bad. 2. 1 and a 3. And on to the German turn. Germans are starting to get troops. They got to decide when they want to do their counterattack. Not going to launch it yet, but we do have some attacks to make. Here we got 12. This is going to be a mobile attack against 3. That's 4 to 1 on the mobile attack column. Is that wise? We get additional... Yeah, because we can't take losses off of it. We don't want to take losses on those units. We get a 3. Yeah, it was a bad choice because of that, but we get to drive these guys back. And that means we get, I don't know which unit to advance. This is a mobile advance, actually, isn't it? May only be tanks that get... Yeah, it's only the tanks that get this. The problem is I don't want to give up this hex. That opens things up too easily on that unit. Giving up this hex not entirely good either, but now I'm in a defensive position, which I like. Then over here I've got 10, 12 against 6. This is only a 2 to 1. That's not a mobile attack. 2 to 1 says I think I'll just go with a probe. I'm not thrilled with this, but the counterattack, let me make sure the counterattack does what I expect it to. The counterattack is kind of dangerous because they can pick any hex to attack, and so they'd have a strength of 6, which they'd be looking at 1 to 1 no matter what hex they hit, which isn't terribly good. If we probe, if we attack, we have a chance of being eliminated, which I don't really like, but I don't really like the exchanges either terribly much. Like, to me, the exchanges are equivalent to 2 of these, kinda. Except the attacker eliminated on a 2 to 1 is pretty bad. So we'll go to the probe. And we get a 6. There's no effect. We didn't gain anything. Nothing happened. Yeah, shame of that. And that puts us to turn 5. And I think that's it for tonight. But we're having fun. You know, it's a nice little simple game. And I'm expecting this cav to be able to get out, though. And that's going to be a lot of victory points that the raid succeeds in doing. I don't see... Oh, I don't know. We'll see. Germans can do their counterattack and maybe gain this ground in the north here. So there's a little question about the consolidation rule. I'm going to tell you how I resolve it. They say consolidation takes a unit 2 turns neither moving nor attacking nor being attacked. At the end of each of his movement phases, each player may place an inverted consolidation counter under any unit which is spent. I'm putting it on top. At the end of the second turn, not necessarily consecutive, in which these conditions are met, the counter is put right side up on top of the unit, and that trench hex is considered consolidated. Okay. A unit is forced to move or engage in combat while consolidating. The counter is left in place face down until it is consolidated or deconsolidated. But it has to be 2 turns without being attacked or counterattacked. I'm going to remove a counter if the conditions don't apply, which is what I did over here. Guy might have gotten bumped out of here, yeah. But the count is going to disappear because otherwise, how do you keep count? I'm keeping count by dropping the counter on top or below, as the case may be. That means the Brits go first, in this case. Well, they get the counter, they're attacked, they lose the counter. This wouldn't happen in the German turn, it would have to be handled a little differently because they didn't make it through the full turn without meeting the conditions. So they didn't earn that counter as fully, you know. So anyway, and just pointing that out in case you see something a little weird there. That allows them, and they'll consolidate at the end of the complete turn, not the end of the player turn. So like this is not going to be entrenched for the German turn. So the Germans get a chance to push them out before they fully entrench. The Brits are trying to dig in hard. I'm hoping I didn't screw up somewhere here, but I mean, I can go back and look at the video record. We got one attack though. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Shit, I thought I got to the 18. Let's see if I can do this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I clearly have it. 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 now. And you can't swap units easily in this game. I can move the tanks out of the way, which is what I did, but I need one more strength point. Shit. And I don't see how I'm going to get it. Alright, well, I miscalculated. I definitely don't want to go on that, so I'll go on the probe table. Not really thrilled with this either. Get a 3, that's going to be an exchange. That means I only lose 3 strength points of French, or of Germans. Take that in this, I guess. That's more points that the Brits lose there. And I can advance and drop the tanks in. I can't advance an extra hex doing it that way. You know what? If I do it this way, kill this unit instead, I can advance to here and to here. And that'll let me have a better positioning. I'm not sure about this bulge here, but the thing is there's some town there. Town gives the doubled strength immediately, and I kind of don't want the Germans to get that space. It gives me more space to fall back to, assuming I don't get killed in that forward position. And that's the only attack I'm making. This exposed guy I'm not really thrilled about either, but I wanted to keep the river line there, although he could have been back here digging in all this time, which probably would have been wiser. The Germans don't launch their surprise attack real soon. It's going to be too late to have any chance of hitting these cav. They're all coming in back here. That's a lot of victory points. I need to try to cut them off. Things are kind of weak here. The entrenchments aren't completed. I think we can make a big breakthrough in the north if we attempt to really hard, because of the advantages of the surprise table. So we're gonna go for it, man. And we have a couple of attacks to make here. Unfortunately, these guys who are well on their way, they're entrenched at the end of this turn. I'm not gonna be able to budge them. Just couldn't get enough units on them. I mean, I guess I could go for a 1-to-1 on the surprise table. Let's see. 10 to 3 is 3-to-1. Yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we let's see. This guy moved out of here. This guy could have moved up here, but that, here I got a 2-to-1. Okay, I want to get this town as well. So let's start over here, where we're going to try to bash through there. I've got 12, make it 6-to-3. That's a 2-to-1 on the surprise table. Defender retreat 1. Yeah. We can cross the river. This probably locks us in the best. I'm not sure. And then over here I've got 10 to 3 is a 3-to-1 on the surprise table. I've got this marked here. This turn, and this turn is when the surprise applies. That's to remind me that the surprise stops applying, I guess. I don't know if that's what the rules say, but 3, I get an eliminated here. So we kill some Brits. And that's getting us some victory points. We're a little behind, you know, that initial British attack was quite heavy. And now we're back in the trenches and on our way. And that gave me the 1-to-1 here. I'm not thrilled with doing a 1-to-1, but it's not that bad. And it should give us clear that trench, which I see is really important. But it doesn't. I get an attack or retreat. And then here, I've got 12-to-6 as a 2-to-1. Ooh, these aren't going too well for us. I think here, I don't like this big gap. You kind of want the 1 hex difference. I think this is probably stronger. Even if I can always shove that into there eventually. And then over here I don't have an attack, so that's the end of turn 5. The Brits are going to get a bunch of tanks back. Remember, they end up like behind the original line. Oh, and I forgot to roll my tanks again. That's the hardest rule for me to remember. And they lost 1, and that's was 5 turns from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming back there. You can see I must have done it last turn. That's cool. So here are all my tanks. They have to be 3 or more hexes back. Got reinforcements coming in. I kind of don't like the way they use the word the reinforcements here. They're placed in the hex, but they count it as movement. It's a little weird, except in Cambrai, where they're just placed in the hex and they don't count it as movement. It's just a pet peeve. And I guess we're ready to try to figure out how to consolidate this British position. We don't want to lose this line here because these cav are important. I'll figure out how to represent the scoring for them. I think if they succeed in scoring, they'll go into the German box because that'll be similar. If they don't, I'm going to bag them so there's no mix-up. And I forgot a couple of those become consolidated at the end of the turn. Just as hey, in the middle of it, I want to talk a little bit. I am really getting a kick out of this. It's, you know, it's light, but the graphics are nice. For this version, the game is simple and clean. It's kind of like a really good magazine game, a really good magazine game. And then it's got, you know, this add-on of all these optional shits here that give it a lot of replay. This is one hell of an intro game as far as I'm concerned, and kind of I don't know, I really like it. It has to do with mood. I mean, it was just absolutely in the space for playing kind of a lighter war game at this point, and you know, that's why I selected what I did. But on top of that, this is a very good entry. Anyway, Brits have moved, no attacks, pretty much trying to consolidate. This is a little dangerous, having a unit that can't really retreat. That could end up getting killed by, you know, a mobile war attack. So that's something I got to keep in mind, is that I've got a little bit more risk there, but the surprise table's in place anyway. That's probably the stronger option, even for retreats. And just trying to dig in and make it as hard as possible for this German advance to happen. Tanks moving forward. Forgot to roll for them. Got a bunch of them moving now on the board, so yeah, I got a lot of die rolls. A couple of them didn't make it to the front. They were too broken. All over the place. Let's make those Brits pay. 8-3, 2-1 on the surprise table. Even a retreat does me good. We're pretty much guaranteed to eliminate that. Yeah, that was a mistake by the Brits to stay up there. Push forward. Over here, this is only 6-3, but again, 2-1. We're going to kill another unit. Wow, the Brits did bad things. Yeah, they fucked up royally. No chance of retreat because it's blocked. We'll push forward. And we're in a, that's a friendly trench. That included these guys. 8 to 6. That's only a 1-to-1, but I want to make the attack, right? Because here 14 to 8, and I'm not going to use that. Yeah, 8 to 6. That sounds good. Uh-oh. Defender retreats 2. That was these guys against him. He's got to leave the trench. We'll push forward. This trench is interesting because it is both players' trench at this point. I think we're going to hit here 12 to 4 is 3-to-1. That's a lot. Are we sure we don't need it there? Yeah, we don't need it there. All right, 3-to-1. The defender retreat 2. And up here, a 2-to-1. As the Brits are failing to entrench. That's pretty cool. This will be the last turn of the counterattacks. Find a British attack I wanted to make, so just basically moved forward, entrenching a little bit more, hoping for the best here. Doesn't look, I mean, even with those stupid defensive lines, that may have helped protect my cav, so that may be good, but other than that, it's hard to tell. It's pretty obvious that Toymans are not going to be able to prevent the cav from making it back on the board, which is a whole lot of victory points for the Brits. I don't know if I was clever with my Brits or exceptionally inept with my Germans. I would suspect the latter, but it is a fairly simple game. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out where to do the attacks. I mean, I would like to get rid of things that are trying to establish themselves. Outside of that, I want to make a decent number of attacks and, yeah, at the very least, push them off the river. Their victory points, they're not going to get their strategic, the British. The Germans have to get 3 west of the British front line, 3 towns. I don't think that's going to be easy. So then it comes down to the point situation. And other than destruction, it's really capturing ridges and towns behind the lines, basically anchors for the next front. And we definitely want to push the Brits back behind the German front because at the very least towns and to a lesser extent ridges east of the front line are a problem for us. So we've got to get them back behind here, and then it just becomes casualties. Our big advantage is almost worn out though, and that's kind of the problem. I'm not quite sure what to do. We'll see what we can I mean, one of the things is I have so few of these 6-4s, which right now it's not for their Strasstruppen ability, but just for the strength points, 8 to 3, well, that's 2-to-1. If I get 2 more strength points, and I got 3-to-1, which is obviously better than 2-to-1, you know. And then, but if I look here, this would be 5 to 3, as opposed to 6-3. I have one more 6-4 coming. So I think I can squeeze everybody. I think I can squeeze attacks in here and here. And that's kind of nice. That gets me across in the north and lets me swoop around. But then I do have to try to, I want to get this thing out of the way. I think I kind of have to. That thing's really annoying. I didn't realize how obnoxious that position was going to be fortified. Well, we got our attack set. So here we have, I don't know why I even rolled these all out, but it's a fast enough moving game. 10-3, 3-1, still surprise. Oh, we only got a retreat on them. Here 6-3, 2-1. And yeah, you're not seeing the die rolls. I don't think it's absolutely necessary. That's a defender retreat 2. Ground is gained. We want to make it across the river. Unfortunately, these are both 6-4s. I kind of don't want to expose them. But I want to hold the corner location. The Brits aren't going to go marching into there, I don't think. This guy, I think, is not attacking. He's not going to do anything. He moved, though, because I shifted the line. I did all kind of zigzags all over the place. So this is 16-8. That's 2-1. The tank defense doesn't count unless, basically only one unit can defend at a time. And we get a DR2 there, which means we get to pump another unit in the line. And then over here, I've got a 1-1, which I can only really get away with because of the surprise. Let me leave this unit back here, just in case I get the attack or retreat. And it's a defender retreat 1. That location looks good to me. That's the end of the counterattack. And Cavs coming back on, lots of victory points for that. Preventing the Cav raid looks really, really hard. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they can't all leave from the same hex. I'll look that up. I think it's pretty clear that I'm doing it right, but I'm not positive. British Cav divisions may exit off the north edge of the map at east of Borlone Town exclusive. Now, unless exclusive there means each is exclusive to the hex, and I think it just means exclusively east, not inclusive, given the way it's kind of tossed off there. And it doesn't say anything about only one per hex. It does say each Cav can only make one raid per game, but that's fine. So yeah, I'm pretty hard pressed to think of a way that I could have gotten at them. All right. And that's it for at least a while for today. The Brits got themselves in a bit of trouble up against the edge of the map here. In order to keep supply, I got to keep a unit here. This is not the best place for me to be, but I figure they're going to try their breakthrough somewhere else if they can. We're going to try to shove the Germans back against the river here. 16-4 gives me a 4-1 attack. I think that's the only attack I'm going to make. Otherwise, I'm trying to create a defensive line along the river. I'm not really converting trench lines. That involves infantry. All the Cav came in. They can't do it. They might be able to help me extend some lines somewhere, but they're too weak on defense or offense to be of much use on the battlefield. So what are we at? I said 4-1. I am going to do that as, looks like a probe is a bad idea at those kind of odds. And we get to kill one of them big German units. This one forward, because this provides some protection there, I guess. The only problem with that is this guy can't retreat if he has to. So I actually don't want to. If I was in this position and this guy has to retreat, he's got nowhere he can go. So I actually have to do this one. And we'll go over to the German side of the turn. I always forget to tell you about the tanks. I end up doing them. They all survived. But mainly it's just, I remember as soon as I put the camera away from most turns. There was one turn where I did one or two turns where I did the German turn before I remembered though. Hard time trying to budge things. Of course, it's World War I. That would make some sense. But I had the feeling the German counterattack would have been more effective over the course. I don't know, again, if I was just brilliant with my Brits or incompetent with my Germans, but I failed to move the Brits back as far as I expected to early, and now, obviously, the lines are beginning to stabilize. The Brits are not in the trenches, though, so that's kind of a big deal. I feel like trying to destroy this salient here is probably my biggest immediate goal. Get some casualties up, weaken their line. So I'm going to do an attack there at 10, 13 to 3 is 4 to 1. That can be a mobile attack. I only get a retreat out of that. It's got to be this way. I see no reason not to move there. They use these guys up. I doubt I have another attack over here. But I do have one over here in the corner. Why am I taking this space instead of trying to cut it off? The movement rates weren't fast enough to do any kind of outflank, so I'm going to go with the forward assault here. And that's 5 and 4 is 9. 3 to 1 there. This is a normal attack, and that'll be an assault, I guess, because I'm not really impressed with the probe results on the high end. It forces a counterattack. The Brits do not really want to counterattack, but I got nowhere to retreat to. We're not in supply. I think nothing happens in that case, because we're not allowed to attack. Nope, it attacks at half its strength. Wow, this is not going to be good. Okay, so I'm a 2, halved again, crossing the river is a 1 to 4. Yeah, that's not good. Are attacks allowed at less than? And what happens if it's... Oh, wow. I think it doesn't matter. So what I want is, I don't want to retreat. I'm facing less attack or eliminated here. I'm going to go with the 1 to 3 probe. Because it might somehow give me some advantage. I don't know. I get a 6. It's an attacker eliminated. Excellent. Now, since I was attacking, there's no no advance. I'm not sure. I would say yes, the defender did not retreat, therefore the attacker cannot advance. But the Germans did manage to kill a unit, and I mean, this hex isn't that important, although it does cost a couple more points to get to because of the canal thingy. I think maybe the Brits got a little lucky on their initial combat rolls, and because I do remember some good rolls there. And maybe threw the Germans into a position where their counterattack wasn't very effective. And that's always a possibility in something like this. I'm going to launch one quick attack here at 3 to 1. Just to try to regain some river line. And this will be a normal attack, because probes suck at high end comparatively. And we get a kill, which is pretty cool. That gets us up on the river line a little bit more. I don't know how big a deal it is, but over tanks. Let's remember. Oh, I got another one there. I meant to move this sucker. There's no reason for him to be on the defensive line there. Let's get him down I wanted to consolidate my tanks so that maybe I could actually use them for something. And he doesn't go anywhere, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, last turn we didn't lose any. I'm going to get back across a couple more attacks that we're going to take care of as well. This one is 10, 12, 4 to 1 there. We have to juggle some pieces around. And this is a normal attack. It's hard to get enough Straßtruppen in place, but we kill a unit. We'll again put one of our good units in the line. Anything else kind of disrupts our defenses a little bit. That was these guys over here. That could be 5, 11 to 4. That's 2 to 1. We'll use the mobile attack table, which makes things a little less bad for us, but we get an attack or retreat one. It kind of blows. And then I think we wanted to hit these cav here, where we have 3 to 1 on the normal. And we get an exchange, and that's the thing, we would have gotten an exchange the other way. I'll take these two. That is not particularly good for the Germans, but, you know, I think I'd rather be here. Kill the unit up here instead. Alright. We took the hex, we could advance. Yeah, we don't want to. Right. That'll push us forward. I'm worried about the German incursion that was heading down this way. I had to throw some cav this way because I'm trying to convert these trench lines. And I don't know what's going to happen. It looks like the longer German line, it doesn't have to be longer if I start committing the cav. And not, you know, I had a defensive depth with the Brits to prevent this area from falling. But man, over here they could sweep in and get some serious points there. So that we want to prevent. And we'll see. We'll see how well we did there. Interesting situation because what I pointed out there, we're not seeing any attacks, I don't think, on the Germans there. I got a 2 to 1 there that, you know, it's a crapshoot. It's not worth it. I could probe. Yeah, why don't we probe this? Because our whole line could collapse if we do it. And we don't want that to happen. Okay. Good reason. The way this happened up here, it's kind of surprise and solo play, right? The Germans were trying, hey, I can kind of curve around and get some at-J on some of these pieces over here. At-J being the go term for influence through positioning of other pieces, etc. You know, that was my main goal there. So neither side was really thinking. Nobody was thinking about this big alpha flank until the British turn came along and they're like, oh shit. You know, and I could see that happening in an opposed game, but I could also see an opposed game where the Germans actually are trying to do an outflank here and the Brits just finally realize it. So it's not like surprise doesn't happen in my solo play. You know, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're missing some big element of it. Well, in some games, the hidden element, the big element is hidden information on the board, like block games and stuff. And there I'm probably likely to forget both sides more than forget what is, you know, what's hidden from me. But here, I'm missing, you know, what seems to have been the eventual outcome of what the German moves were. And I may not have been unaware, I wasn't aware with either side of what the Germans were actually doing. You know, sometimes plans just develop out of what you do trying to do something else. And so it's a little different, but, you know, again, it has the same outcome, really. Let's get some Germans attacking here. 3 to 1 there, normal attack. Get a counterattack. Brits have to either attack, which would be at best a 1 to 1. I could probe that. That's not too bad. Or I could fall back. I can't give ground because this stupid guy is here. I mean, I can give up that hex, but the river line's useful. I'm going to do the counterattack at 1-1 on the probe. And we get the attack back. That puts us in the original position, not the single unit having to counterattack. 2. We kill and cross. Maybe we should have retreated, right? Because this looks worse. Over here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 4. That's a 2-1. We will probe on the 2-1. We need, I don't know if we even want to, but okay. That's a pretty good unit. Killing it for one of our 4s is probably I guess. 6, we get a no effect. And then finally over here, it's 2-4, 2-1. Probe, I guess, because we want to dislodge them. I don't know. I don't know if we have anything useful we can do. But here, it's 1-6 or 1-3. Well, we'll retreat, which means the Germans could advance if they want. I don't feel there's too much danger of getting cut off here, so we will. Damn tanks again. One of them should have been knocked out, and the Brits are entrenched there, which, you know, may be too exposed a position. So all the effort of trying to hold it, you know, so we could dig in might have been somewhat less than effective. And we go to the Brit side of the turn. So we hit November 29th. 1-day turns. 10 days into the battle. The Brits are getting a bunch more troops coming in. Yeah, some of these are tanks, but I think I can stabilize the line if I can just hold it a little longer. So I'm going to try to hold this position here because I can draw supply through there. Maybe I can launch an attack even. Yeah. And 9, 13 to 8 now. I need more. So I'm going to hold off there. But I got kind of a centerpiece here. I've got a defect in my line here, though, and the Germans could come streaming through that. I don't really see an easy answer to that. I guess I could toss a cav in. I could do this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Like this. And that gets rid of that defect. So now I got a weakness there, but it's not a defect in my line. But it could be a problem still. Because it's easy to pick on. I can get a 5-1 attack on it, but what if I don't put the cav in there? Then it's not so easy. Yeah, let's leave the cav back here. So we'll just pull that infantry over, and now we've got a more solid line. Great. And that goes out to here. These guys are not going to entrench because I'm launching an attack on these guys. Why? You know, I've got fair odds on it. And I can do a mobile attack. Is that worth it even? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe it's not even worth it. 10, 14. So I would have a 3-1 mobile attack, which has an attack or retreat in it. We do not like that. Or we could do a regular 3-1 and try to kill off a decent unit. We have a couple exchanges there. That's livable. Let's keep that armor out of there. And we'll just try to bust up and make it so the Germans can't gain that ground. That could open up a defect here, though, which I kind of don't want. How about instead, I fall back to here. This is so exposed. Why am I trying to hold the line there? 2, 3. So this guy came out of here. 1, 2, 3. And that would be as far as I could go, but that would give me 1, 2, 3, yeah. let's give up this hex and let's not make that attack, I think. Right? I hate this because I had an idea in mind, and now that idea is not really holding water. Because then I can move this and protect my line over there. Because I don't need that cav anymore. This guy could have moved first to there. Strengthen a little bit there, I guess. Yeah, let's go with this instead. And that way I put a second one of these. If the Germans don't break the center, they might be able to. But if they don't break the center, I'll be able to get forward there. And we don't need tanks then. Pull those tanks back. They could be useful in a counterattack, but I don't really want to lose them if he can get good odds on that unit. We have an attack, though, that we want to do, which was 7, 8, 9 to 3. 3 to 1. Regular attack, I guess. Although I don't really like an exchange. The probe is worse for an exchange. I get a 3. That's a counterattack. This 2-point unit would be attacking at 1 to 2 at the best. I'll pull back. Brits could advance. I don't know. It doesn't seem bad. I have a couple of German attacks to do here. 10 to 3 is 3 to 1. It's a normal attack. I can't do mobile. I don't have more units. 3 to 1. We don't really like the probe table, do we? That extra exchange in exchange for a couple of DEs, yeah, that just sucks. We get a counterattack here. He could go a 1 to 1. Now here, probe is not so bad. Falling back would hurt. I don't have much good terrain, so I'm going to do the 1 to 1 probe. Hope for no effect, and hope to pin him, and I get that. So that doesn't change there. Here we had 12 to 3. That's a 4 to 1. Now I could do that as a mobile attack. There are less defender eliminateds there, but there are no exchanges. We get to push them out of there. That's important in terms of getting them out of the trench. So let's do that. And he has to retreat. So we prevent that entrenchment from happening. And we'll push forward, because this is a hard hex to move into if bad things happen. And then over here, I don't think we have any attacks, so that pushes us to the next one. Try for some killing here. I got a 3 to 1 odds here. I could do mobile, but I want to kill. I want to kill. That gives me 2 DEs. This does not. I don't have them surrounded or anything. Seems like a best idea. If he has to retreat, he doesn't have anywhere to retreat to. Oh, maybe we want to mobile. Yeah, we'll mobile him. He doesn't have anywhere to retreat to. The Germans fucked up. 6, we get an attack or retreat. That's not good. That means our line has just fallen apart. Not good at all. We've just fallen back from our trenches. That means this southern area is going to collapse. Over here, we could do a 2 to 1. I don't know what value there is to that. 2 to 1's not terribly good. We don't really want to do an exchange there, so we're going to hold off on that attack. We're starting to entrench here, but now our line's collapsing. Looks bad for the Brits now. Go with another 3 to 1 there. Can't do mobile again, but whatever. Normal attack. Counterattack. Could be a 1 to 1. We like the 1 to 1 probe. It holds the line pretty well. It doesn't this time, so back to the 3 to 1. And that's a destruction. I think we can afford to push forward with this. I don't see too much risk in that breaking of the line there. There's a lot of victory points here. The Brits have scored. If they, now with that line beginning to fall apart, it's going to be tougher to hold on to them. And then there's this unit at risk. Over here, I have 12 to 3. That's 4 to 1. I could do mobile. but I could also do up here. Do I really care about retreating him? I would rather destroy him. I hate to lose a real unit. We got a couple of exchanges there, but I think overall this is pretty good. And we get a Thunder eliminated there. And that was here. Who advances? We can't advance with this unit. That would break our line, so we'll go forward here. I feel pretty safe, although, you know, honestly, that's a dangerous place to go in terms of retreats. So let's not screw ourselves over like we did a little earlier, where we lose our retreat space. And then what about over here? I think we got in here too. That's 8 to 4. The tanks don't count on defense. That's 2 to 1. Do we want to probe with that? Breaking the line there would be really, really useful. So I'm going to go with it. We get a 1, that's a counterattack. So the Brits would have to attack at 1 to 2 somewhere. Giving up that hex is painful. 1 to 2 on probe has a chance of ending the battle. Let's do it, because I don't think we can afford that, giving up that hex. I don't know. Yeah, I can't give up terrain. So you can see there's a fair amount of luck here. So I think only this unit is destroyed. What did we want to hit? If we were going to advance somewhere, we would have wanted, well, we'd rather kill this. It's the more valuable unit. But we would not want to advance there. We were doing a probe. We weren't going to get anything. So the question really is, what unit would we want to kill? That's this unit. We weren't going to get a valuable advance. So let's kill that. Yeah, I should have decided ahead of time. Let me make sure those tanks don't get destroyed. Couldn't fight because that was Cav in there. In fact, I think that couldn't even counterattack. My mistake. I have to retreat. That sucks. Because I had those tanks in there. If I didn't have the tanks in there, I wouldn't have had to retreat. But they had to be there because of the British side of the turn. And you know what? I bet you I didn't roll for the tanks on the British side of the turn either. So we'll do that, and then we'll push the turn marker forward. Remembering the damn tank roll, that's the hardest thing in the world for me. Anyway, I think we'll go, I think we'll load this one up. Give it some time, you know, give you a chance to see it in 2 segments instead of one big video. I know some people prefer it one way or the other, but whatever. No way to please everyone anyway. This is going to be a fairly short video with the wrap at the end of it. That's fine.